Friday night. I just got out of school and I had to go straight to work. I get to work for 4 hours, and my boss tells me we need more spoons for tomorrow's event. I say okay, and I go grab them on my way home. The only store open with heavy-duty spoons is all the way on the other side of town, and I still wanted to meet up with some friends and mess around. I decided to take the faster but more sketchy way around the outskirts of town. I live in a weather bipolar state. It snowed last night, but I figured the roads would be fine even though they weren't plowed. I take off to the store, and the first 5 minutes go by and nothing's wrong. I haven't seen a single car or any buildings the entire time, but keep in mind it's approaching 9 p.m. and I'm on the outskirts of town, and no one really takes this way in case they really have to. All of a sudden, I see something in the corner of my eye. It looks like a man, roughly 5'8" I'd say, wearing shorts, t-shirt, and a backwards hat. He's in a ditch, walking in the snow, when it's 10 degrees out. My first thought is to pull over, but I'm on the phone with my mom at the time and she warns me not to, as some things have happened before in this town. I consider stopping, but for some reason I tell myself not to. I wasn't really worried about anything. I'm a young dude driving a big pickup truck. Last type of person anyone would want to harm, right? I passed a man going about 40 miles per hour. I drive not even 500 feet past him, and immediately a car I did not see at all before turns on and pulls on a field entrance off the road and starts following me. At first I thought I was focused on the man in the ditch and didn't see a road, and that's where they came from, but later I found out there was not a road there. Now again, I'm not super worried. I've watched my fair share of crime movies and plenty of stories on this sub, and I didn't feel like this was a threat. I start to approach the town again and have to take some turns to get where I was going. I turn left, the car turns left. I turn right, the car turns right. I go about around and about and skip my turn and go twice as no one else was there. The car follows. At this point I start to worry a little, but maybe they just need to go to the store also. I then pull up to a stop sign and I turn without my turn signal and the car follows. Now, at this point, I should have went straight to the police station, but I didn't think much of it. I'm 2 miles from the store where plenty of people would be. I take a few more turns and the car continues to follow me. I completely blew a stop sign at a non-busy intersection and the car does a quick stop and go and catches up. At this point, I'm 2 turns till the store, so I'm not worried still. I turn into the store and the car turns also. The store also has a gas station, so I pull there first to act like I was getting gas. The car sits off to the side of the road and just sits there. I wait for about 10 minutes and the car doesn't move. At this point I really start to get worried. I'm a young kid alone at night near the bad side of town. I call my friends I'm supposed to meet up with later on and give them the license plate of the worst case scenario, then take off to the store. I cross the street and the car comes straight behind me. I'm freaking out on the phone, not knowing if I should call the cops or not. I go and park as close as possible to the store, and the car parks 3 rows behind me and a couple down. It's getting late at this point, and the store is closing soon. There's only a couple others in the lot. I turn my truck back on and go park on the complete opposite side of the lot, get out, and I completely bolt inside the store. I'm not super overweight, but I'm not skinny either. I'm about 6'1" and 200. Who would want anything to do with me? I get my spoons, take my time in the store, I go to call my friends to walk back outside, and my phone's dead. I look out at the sliding door and suddenly there's a white van next to my driver's side. Looks like no one's in it, but the back windows are covered and it's running. Big red flag. I run to customer service and explain everything, but they think I'm some young kid messing around. At the time I didn't see the original follow car, but no way in hell am I going outside with that van next to my truck. After waiting what seemed like hours, the van pulls forward and the original car appears from the side of the building. You can from in-store Starbucks window and they talked. Both drove off and I wait another 10 minutes and dash outside. I speed to my friend's house and when I get there, I park in his garage. My one buddy asks why there's a big orange mark on my tire and my heart sinks. When I was inside, the follow car must have marked my tire. After inspecting the rest of the truck, we find a small pipe dropped in the bed of my truck surrounded by snow. It was about 2 inches wide and I say about 18 inches long, wrapped in duct tape. It was not mine. I was alone, no phone, scared, in a part of town I'm not familiar with. I try to laugh it off, but now that everyone's asleep, I can't help but think that something would have happened if I walked outside. I've always been sort of ego boosted on the fact that I'm a fat, chubby dude that no one would really want to mess with, but after tonight, I realize anyone can be targeted. My fiance and I are soon to be married and are remodeling an old family home. We start working on the house about 2 or 3 months ago. My fiance bought a whole bunch of tools to use on the house to renovate. The house has been sitting with nobody in it for over a year. Keep in mind, the house is located in a fairly rural area. A few houses and trailers here, but there's not too much traffic. We have a rodent problem and have been setting traps to catch them. 3 weeks ago, my fiance went to check the traps and we had a rat that was alive. Long story short, he didn't want to take care of it, so he left. I got off work around 9 p.m. and went over to the house to take care of the rat. It was raining and my mom and brother came with me. I went to the back door and it was wide open and water was blowing into my house. I was pissed. I thought my fiance had left the door open. I shut it and finished my business there. I asked my fiance why he left the door open and he claimed he didn't. I called him out and left it at that. Didn't occur to me that someone had possibly made a quick getaway. Fast forward to the day, my fiance and I went to our house to throw a whole bunch of trash and stuff into the dumpster we rented. When we walked inside, we immediately noticed some things were missing. Drills, sanders, etc. We realized they'd been stolen. We call my MIL and tell her about it. She says make a police report. What scares me so much is that everything began to click with the rat trap incident. Somebody had been scoping us out. I would go to our house by myself on many occasions and always had the creeps and felt watched. My little brother even remarked that he felt watched there and asked if we were sure nobody was in there while we were gone. I noticed today that when I was there alone that my dog was acting very nervous and suspicious. She wasn't running and playing like she usually does, and didn't want me to go into the backyard or wooded area. I'm glad I trusted her in my feelings. I didn't know if the thieves were there, but I'm glad I didn't find out. We are currently in the process of installing cameras. This had to have been somebody that lives near us and can monitor how often we're there. For context, my mom at the time was working 40 to 50 hours a week, so while on vacation from school, I was responsible for watching my younger sister. I was a high school junior at the time and I had a babysitting experience, so I decided why not. I didn't get paid to watch my little sister, but she was a relatively good kid, so it wouldn't be a hassle. Before my mom went to work, she gave me the normal rules and told me to make sure I kept an eye on my little sister. I shrugged her off and sat on the couch to watch some TV. My little sister raced down the stairs 15 minutes later and asked me if she could go next door to collect some dolls from our neighbor, as she promised her. It was a sweet old lady who was about 65 and had grandkids me and my sister's age. I told her yes and to be back 5 minutes, to which she put on her sandals to retrieve the dolls. At this time, my little sister had a habit of leaving the door open. I didn't mind most of the time because it was hot and we lived in a safe public neighborhood. There was so slim to no crime in our neighborhood and everyone knew everyone else. That being said, if you do something bad, your parents would know about it within the hour. I know you're reading this and thinking how dumb it is to leave the door open, but like I said, we lived in a public place. While my sister was next door, I decided to use the restroom. We have 2 bathrooms, one half bathroom downstairs for guests and one full bathroom upstairs. While I was in the bathroom downstairs, I could hear my sister slamming the door close and walking up the stairs to her room. I finished up, flushed and washed my hands, then sat back on the couch to watch some TV. Curious to what my sister got, I called her name. No answer, just a muffled rustling of toys. I decided to leave her alone and turn my attention back to the TV. I was so into the show I was watching, I didn't notice my sister walking across from me. It didn't click for me because I haven't heard her come downstairs. I just stared at her, annoyed that she kept staring at me. I paused the TV and asked her what she wanted. She looked at me wide-eyed and told me that someone was upstairs. I laughed at her and told her that she wasn't being funny, but she was visibly scared. I thought she was joking. I asked her if she came back home a few minutes ago and she said no. She said the door was closed and pointed to the disregarded box of dolls by the back door. I walked into the kitchen to call my dad to come over and grabbed a big knife from the kitchen drawer. Walking back into the living room, I told my little sister to go into the bathroom and lock the door behind her. I told her not to open it until I told her mom's home, so she would know it's me. I crept up the stairs and peeked into each room until I got to my little sister's door. It was cracked open, and toys and clothes now littered her normally organized room. I didn't wait. I kicked open the door and clicked on the light. My blood turned cold. In my little sister's rocking chair sat a little old woman, rocking back and forth with a plastic baby doll. I stepped further into the room and demanded she get out of the house. I wasn't raised to curse at adults, but this was a strange woman in my little sister's room. She stopped rocking and started to hum the tune to a baby lullaby. The most terrifying part wasn't that she was pretending that the baby was real. It was the unnatural smile across her wrinkled face. She stood up and giggled on the way out and down the stairs. I stood there, staring at her room, trying to see if anything was missing. I didn't even notice she took the doll with her. I walked back downstairs and checked the room before letting my sister know that she could come out after I locked the doors. By then, my dad was pulling up in the driveway up front and I told him what just happened. He walked around and checked the rooms like I did. While he was upstairs, my little sister told me that the old lady knew where she had been and tried to get her to come with her. The creepiest part was my sister told me she sounded like she was attempting to sound like me, but when she didn't say Mom's home, she stepped away from the door.